look forward to that. Okay?
Thank you.
In regards to the snowplow, I live at 175 Western Drive. It's a 20-foot paved roadway. There's one lane. One lane. It's about 3 feet wider than one car. At the end, at the intersection of Western Drive and Strasburg Road, a pile of snow was left on the left side that extended out to the white line of the eastbound lane. And in order for me to come out of my driveway onto Western Drive and on, I wanted to come this way, I had to pull out. The front end of my vehicle was on the eastbound lane before I could determine whether the road was clear above. So if you're telling, if we're, what would you say, commending the Township Road Department on the job that they did, then it's one of two things. Either the persons that make those comments haven't been around the township, or they don't know what they're talking about.
Thank you.
Okay?
Thank you.
But read that book.
Thank you.
Thank you.
In the back there. Come up, identify yourself. We'll take you.
Hi, how you doing? I'm Jim Burns. I live in Cranford Village, Roberts Lane. I've been a resident here for a little over 8 years. To the motion that's actually on the table right now, we had one full-time officer resign. That was part of the budget that was already proposed. And then we have a part-time officer. So to assign arbitrary value, we'll say there's one for the full-time and half for the part-time. We're down to half. If we make that half of one, we're still reducing the budget by that half, correct? Just using simple numbers?
Yes. Essentially, I mean, yeah, the part-times will still be needed to cover, but the officer would be coming on at a lower rate than the officer that left.
And we'd also probably be saving the overtime money by making the part-time a full-time, correct?
In theory, yes. That's right.
Okay. That's all. That was simple, right?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Last comment, Mr. Barr, keep it short, please.
Absolutely. One of the things I did when we were considering the police department labor contract, okay, as I looked through the budget and I looked for alternatives. The state police, I went down and talked to the chief down there, and he ran it to Harrisburg. The state police would pick up all coverage in East Fallowfield Township in a nanosecond. Now, most people want a local and I don't have, Chris is doing, as far as I know, is doing a great job with the police department. This isn't a personal issue, okay? And a full-time guy, that means benefits, okay? And the benefits cost a whole lot more than a little bit of overtime. And I believe if we actually look at our patrol, in other words, if you want to manage the situation, there is an opportunity to bring the budget into control, okay, and retain our, and I've been doing it for 30 years in the military, okay, we took a 65% hit, okay, and delivered 1.7% more stuff at a 35% funding level, and those are real numbers. So we have the tools available if people choose to do so, all right, it's not an either or. We can manage the system to sustain the services to the community, okay, in the proportion that the general public feels is appropriate, okay, and stay in budget, and even reduce your budget. If I took a look at the budget, I could cut the existing budget by 30% in about a nanosecond and not give up anything, okay? And all it takes is sitting down with a calculator and a little bit of experience and making it happen.
Thank you. All right. We're going to vote on the motion that's on the floor. Okay.
Chief, well, the first thing is, could ask him on this phone.
None of that, no. No.
Yeah. All right, so Chief, with the hiring the 8th officer, I was on the board when that officer took place of hiring. Up until that point, up until about 2 years ago, we had 7 full-time officers and part-timers. Was that 8th officer hired because one officer was out for a long period of time?
We had 2 out at that point in time, but we also were putting a lateral movement for a detective slot.
Right.
And that's who that person took her full-time patrol spot.
Okay, so she was, yeah, she
Correct.
was promoted in it, so, and you're technically looking, obviously, one has left, and then potentially we could be losing one for a few months coming up, right?
Right.
Why isn't the position put out to allow other people to apply, like,
We can do that if you want to do that, that's totally up to the board. I can bring it to the board that way, but we're gonna get flooded with applications, and it's gonna take me forever to go through these.
what, the reason why I ask is, so, I mean, just because we are a diverse township, but we're not a diverse government, if you get my drift. I mean, we're not, you know, and I just,
No, we
No, I
don't.
don't.
Please,
I don't understand what you're saying.
sure, I
Please
just.
don't speak out of turn.
hasn't-
Then I'll come up there if I can speak.
There isn't anyone of any other ethnic background working for the township.
I just had one apply today.
That's what I mean,
He
so,
came in, gave me his resume.
that's what I mean, so that's, I mean, given that the township's diverse, I would like to see the government be a little bit more diverse here as well.
Me
You know?
too, I agree.
And not that I'm trying to cater that card, but I mean, the problem with the selection, if we can allow a few people to apply,
I've offered jobs before.
okay,
They just haven't been able to take that position.
so, all right. All right, so, all right, I got a couple more things.
Okay.
Yeah,
No,
I
it's just-
got a couple more things.
Coach, please.
All right. You know, on a personal level, Chris, you're aware, I've had 3 federal crimes in East Fallowfield committed against me in 2009 with identity theft,
Okay.
you know, mail fraud, and forgery. You know, in the summer, I was threatened with a TikTok letter, you know, to me as a supervisor that was given to the balance of the board. In my personal life, I was just attacked on a harassment issue, in my opinion, where they mentioned the police department in their thing, saying that East Fallowfield people want police service and police. I worry a little bit about,
I don't know what you're speaking on. that.
yeah,
I have
it's
no
just,
idea.
it's just like, it's just something that, in my personal life, that I feel I'm being harassed as a supervisor, and they're taking the stance of even putting.
You can bring that to me.
I
We'll look it
will, I
up.
will, so I worry about that in general. But here's the thing, how long would it take you just to review O'Donnell's application versus maybe allow, maybe 2-week period of other people to apply, including the one that you just received? How long would it take? Obviously, you have some kind of, in asking you a question, like, you must have, like, I mean, we have full-timers working as part-timers in other municipalities. So word could get out pretty quick that you would have a full-time position available and that you would possibly get some more applicants.
Absolutely, applicants are great. The
Okay.
problem is, I know what I got.
Okay,
Why do I want to go outside to get something less than what I already have?
Okay.
To put in that position.
fair enough. I mean, I
That's-
understand, yeah, I understand that's, I mean, I just don't, I'm looking at it from the perspective of just allowing other people to apply.
And that's fine,
Yeah.
I can put it out from now on, I'll throw it out there. That's fine, we'll go right to the paper, do whatever you want.
Can I ask a question of the solicitor?
No, it's not.
Why? I'm sorry, it's an
We're gonna,
open,
we're gonna vote. I said we're
no,
closing the
there's,
vote.
the discussion isn't closed, there's a procedural question.
Okay, and I'm allowed to
No,
stop
you're not.
opening questions at any point.
Point of order.
Please, Mr. Vaughn.
No,
more
point of
outbursts,
order.
Or I will
I'm
ask you to leave.
requesting a legal determination by the solicitor, who you retain at an extensive cost to this township, to ensure that you guys who don't know your job actually do your job
Okay,
in
thank
accordance
you.
with the rule.
Thank you.
So may I please
Thank
ask
you.
a question?
No, thank you.
All right, would you please note that?
But just to be clear, I represent the Board of
No,
Supervisors.
you represent the township. You're
Guys,
paid by
Is
the
that-
township.
Please, please.
I represent the Board of Supervisors, which is representative of the township.
Check your laws.
I don't give legal advice to the public. I give legal
No,
advice to the board.
Exactly,
And if
and
the
I,
board would, excuse me, if the board would request me to give legal advice in a certain matter, I would give it. But I'm not gonna give it to everyone in the world. The public is that waives privilege and creates other issues.
I
and it's a matter for the
believe,
board.
as a point of order, it's required for the full-time hiring of any public employee that it be a publicly competed hiring process. All right? And I want to ask the solicitor to assess that, and I believe I'm correct, been doing this a day or two, all right? And the very process by which we're trying to hire this police officer is flawed by design.
You can ask me, and then I will,
I just asked you.
okay. Does it have to be fully advertised for us to hire from our part-time ranks up to our full-time,
So not unless it's required by your collective bargaining agreement.
which it's not? Okay. All right, did you have any more, Ed? Okay, I'm gonna, Karen?
Yeah.
Sure.
First and foremost, my primary job is to the residents, township, and to control the budget. And I want to be objective and have their interests first, because I did run on the budget. And I think this is a contentious issue, and I vote to table it until it's studied more. We can diffuse the issue.
I think the chief needs a full-timer now. It's already been a month since we've had this position open.
Hasn't this been going on now for
Yeah.
long enough?
I mean,
Thank you. All right, well, we have,
from a public safety perspective.
all right, well, we have the vote out there, so, all those in favor, aye.
Aye.
I'll speak. I can't effectively do my job, in the sense of, if you're up here too, if your personal life is being threatened in different ways. So what I'll do is, just hold on. What I'll do is, I'll ask the vote. Your vote, because I can't effectively do anything up here, and I can guarantee you that if you have any concerns about the budget, it shouldn't even be in answering the question, because,
Ed, quit.
no.
Wes,
You can't do
please
your
stop.
job.
I'm not gonna ask people,
Please.
Excuse me, sir.
Please,
You
stop.
don't know
I
your
will
job.
protect you.
You
Wes,
don't know your
Wes.
job.
Wes, please leave.
Please
leave.
I have
Sorry, it's a
zero,
public meeting.
Please,
Use
Chief,
your
can you
gavel.
please escort him
I
out?
have zero protection.
Thank you.
So I asked the residents here,
Thank you.
on a show of hands, how many people would want my vote to go to hiring that officer, and you have decided, and I'll go that way. I have no ability to vote on my own. I'll be threatened after the fact.
I have a question. Is it-
No, please, we're just,
I have no protection from anything within
no,
Pennsylvania.
no. All right, folks, please. Please, okay, okay. So can we have your vote then, please?
So my vote would be yes, based upon the residents that are here.
Okay, vote passes 3-1. Okay, Public Works Department.
I would like that stated in the minutes also, what was stated there. I might send it off to the Attorney General.
The December Road Department, monthly reports are in the back for your review. Weeds Inc. contract, I'll make a motion to, folks, please, we still have business to attend to. Can you please keep it down? I make a motion to approve the pricing to set forth by Weeds Incorporated Spray for 2016. Do I have a second? Questions or comments? Bonnie?
Program 1 or program 2?
I don't know, I think we did program 2 in the past, didn't we?
Which one was it?
I'm not sure what we did in the past. I can check with Tag. Unfortunately, he had to rest.
Yes.
Yes.
Can we get that from him, and then, is there a deadline on this?
I mean, it's already waited since the beginning of December. What's another couple weeks?
Can we just table it then to the next meeting? So I'll rescind my motion.
And Connie, is option 3 another additional option?
Program 3 has to do specifically with the township part. Program 1 and 2 have to do with, the sides of the road.
Roads.
So it'd be selecting 1 or 2 for the roads and then.
1 or 2 plus 3.
Okay,
Thank you. The fire departments, all the reports and annual reports are in the back. Is there anyone here that would like to speak for them?
Good evening, Board. Good evening, friends and neighbors. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Joe Deckman. Was the 2015 fire chief for the Westwood Fire Company. Been a township resident since 1984, and currently in 2016, I am the assistant fire chief. Board, as you mentioned, my reports are in the back. For the month of December, we ran 27 calls total. One of those was in Fallowfield Township. I also have my annual report back there. We ran 312 calls for the year of 2015. 184 of those were to Valley Township, which is where we're housed, and 50 of those were in East Fallowfield Township, which, if you're doing the math, that's about 16% of our total fire responses. And the remaining was to 19 other municipalities throughout the, as mutual aid response to other fellow fire companies throughout the area. If I could, I come to you with a question tonight, and I will commend Tag and his crew, because my question really resolves around the weekend storm that we just had. And Tag did a tremendous job. I've been in those situations trying to keep the roads open. I understand the challenge that we had on Saturday with the storm, but the roads are open, they're passable. They may be one lane here and there, but I think it was a tremendous effort that was given by those fellows that got that done. My question for you tonight is, as the past fire chief and assistant fire chief, I get the notifications from the county. The county had a tremendous financial output, and I just was going to build on some of the gentlemen that left some of what he's saying, to a notification system, a mass notification system for township residents, emergency responders such as myself, and it kept me in tune with what the county was doing. They stepped up to a level 3 emergency, the emergency operations center was in play. Several, more than not, throughout the county, municipalities and towns participated in that emergency operations response. Having the awareness up there, and I will admit to you that my full understanding is not all the way there, but I'm pretty darn close in understanding what all that means. Because if I'm familiar with Hurricane Sandy, we reach out to the higher governments, as this gentleman indicated here tonight, and when we declare an emergency, those funds become available down through the stream to us. East Fallowfield did not participate in the emergency response.
Negative. You are wrong.
They were not listed with the county, and sir, if I can have my time, please.
Yes, please.
He can speak.
You can speak when he's done.
I don't know whose role that is, the supervisors, the coordinators, the assistant fire chief. I'm not sure who that was, but I can tell you that on the 9th notification, Sunday morning, I still did not see East Fallowfield listed within the municipalities that participated in that. If I'm wrong, Mr. Stern, I apologize, but I was just curious why I was not seeing them listed in that. Thank you.
Mr. Sarno, if you'd like to
Sure.
address that just briefly.
Okay, first off, as far as the participation, we participated in every sit rep from before the storm, about a week before, during the storm, and after the storm. We were involved in every conference call with county. We were involved in the PICO conference calls. We never lost power in this township. We never had a building collapse in this township. We were on Knowledge Center. I don't know if Joe has any knowledge of Knowledge Center or how that works, but we were participating with the county as a subset of that issue. As far as declaring an emergency, the state has declared an emergency. In a snow emergency, the only thing that does for us is tell people that you can't drive on emergency routes, snow emergency routes. We don't have any. It also says you can't park on the street, which is our standard ordinance. I communicated with Chris Porter and Tag, as did Jim Reagan, before the storm. I sent an email to Joe with our plans, because he's our liaison, as to what we're going to do. We did talk to Joe a couple times during the storm as to what was going on, what we were seeing. I forwarded on to Joe a couple of the sit reps, and I'll make sure now in the future he is a participant. He gets those sit reps, just as we do. So this was primarily a snow emergency. We also assisted several times in getting the road crew to get medical staff to get their roads cleared so that medical staff could get to the hospitals. nurses, surgeons. So there was a lot we did. Joe, you said you'd like to know more about it, you want to talk. You could call us and ask, what are we doing? You guys haven't called us. I used to have a pretty good communication with Mike Williams, the new chief.
I
So,
think you guys can talk about that.
yeah,
Afterwards,
but
please.
If I can ask, I mean,
If I could just, I'm sorry, I got
just one
one
second,
Yeah.
it really matters. I mean,
Yeah.
because we've been looking at this for a year. Is there any way that you guys, like, I mean, we're just trying to get it where you guys are, like, we've asked if there's a problem with one or there's a problem with the other. And there's always this tension between the two parties here, left and right. It's like, I don't understand, like, last time we met, you said that you would meet and you guys agreed that you would meet up and everything was gonna be fine and you'll start to do meetings together. I mean, every time it seems like.
we've said we're
I
willing to.
mean,
We
we
did in
asked
the
if there was
past.
any problem with this position of the fire departments, and no one said anything, and they gave their case of why they're needed. And so I'm just trying to understand, like, why they're always gone after every time in certain ways, it seems like that way to me. I'm asking you
Primarily,
genuinely, like, what's
one
the
company.
problem, you know?
I don't come across, if I could just finish up, and I will real quick, I didn't mean to come across as a personal attack on Mr. Cerna. I didn't mean to come across as a personal attack on you. I merely asked why, when the municipalities in the county, I don't know the percentage, 95% of them were listed that they declared some type of emergency, and East Fallowfield did not. That was my question to you. The other question, and I'm sorry, the Everbridge system the mass notification that I mentioned, I don't know how many of our township residents are on that notification. It is available to be done so. I know we're gonna be having taxes go out, Lisa. Perhaps that's a time to reach out and make sure everybody's aware, that they can get the notifications, they can be aware of what the county's doing. So perhaps that's a time that we could share that. And that was the one thing that I wanted to share that I forgot.
Is there information that we
Here,
can
on
put
the
on the
county
website?
website, on the county.
Yes.
So it's something that we can share
You
off
can
of
check
ours.
off every type of notification you want.
Okay.
We also, we
When
did
is your-
refuse one citizen's request to drive into the airport. I will say that.
John, when is your next meeting, when he would be invited? I would like to be there. When do you guys meet? Okay.
That's Modena too.
Can you send me an email when you guys meet?
Sure.
Thank you.
For those who don't know me, I'm John Slide, I'm president of Westwood Fire Company. I'm also the battalion chief, former fire chief as well. The first thing I want to present tonight was the year-end report, and I apologize to Bonnie. There was a miscommunication. I thought I got to her. I sent it over the night before the meeting, so you probably don't have it. But last month, we had 9 total calls in East Fallowfield for ambulance service, 6 for medicals, 2 falls, 1 overdose. Year-end, I do have the year-end report. There was 163 total calls in East Fallowfield Township, which is basically 1 every other day. When you combine that with Modina's responses, I think there's an ambulance responding at least once a day in the township. We were in service for ambulance service in the township 1,504 hours for the year.
You said you had 163 calls though?
163 in East Fallowfield, yes ma'am. So I wanted to present those tonight. I unfortunately missed the last meeting. Mr. Kilgore left. I'm glad that we see he's here and doing well. I did, fortunately, like everyone, most of the people here probably did see it. I just wanted to comment on a few things that were brought up since I wasn't here to make comment. The first thing, Mrs. Scott, I believe, said that the government had shut down the fire departments and seized our fire trucks.
No, I did not.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, okay, well, just want to clarify that did not occur, because I don't know where that fairy tale came from, but didn't happen. Mr. Porter, the only thing I think you questioned was you had asked for finances and payroll at a previous meeting, and I wasn't here, obviously you did say that. I don't know if you got them, but I sent them the next day after you requested them, so I was sent into the township. So
Did you get those?
I think it was several months ago. I mean, it was back when we provided a full audit.
Yeah, I think you sent it to the board.
So, with that said, obviously, we do struggle for money, and first thing I do want to thank the board for your increase on behalf of Modena. I'm sure they could speak, but we appreciate the increase this year. It's still not where we need to be to sustain our operations financially. For those who don't know, Westwood Fire Company will receive $50,000 or so, give or take, depending on what happens tonight with the meeting, for the entire year from the township. That's much appreciated. Our fund drives do help make up the difference. We operate on about a $1 million budget, so that $50,000 is a very small portion of it. I think that's all I had to say about the last meeting. I don't want to get into a big thing tonight with Mr. Cerna here. The only thing I can say is there definitely is a line of communication problem, and you know, I've been at meetings before and I've said that. I think some of the frustrations have become because we did previously go through the emergency management coordinators and nothing was getting to the board. And nothing ever got to the board, and we found out that we had been requesting a lot of things and we're going back and forth and we didn't get to them. So I
We
think
disagree.
This is stuff I think you guys can work out.
We can, I'm
outside
happy to
the
set up a meeting,
meeting,
Mr.
please.
Porter, and you,
Yeah, I'd
and the
like to
fire
do-
companies want to
yeah,
be there.
that way. we
I'm
can
all
get
for
back
it,
in.
we don't have to drag it out tonight.
Thank you.
You and Steve are the fire liaisons?
I don't know, but I'll be there,
Or,
I mean,
not the fire liaisons, the committee.
Please.
The committee was, you and Mark before.
Yes,
this,
Mark and I were on the fire
Or the
committee.
fire committee,
Correct.
which, okay, so.
If you want to appoint a second person, that's great.
It doesn't mean Steve and Ed, I'm cool with that.
I'm fine.
yeah,
I'll
I'd just like to attend that
I
meeting.
email you all, and all
If
that.
you let us know, that's fine.
And we'll
Then
set
you
up
guys
something with Tony and the other fire companies.
deal with this outside of the meeting.
Yep, no problem. Last thing I did want to talk about, I kind of echo Chief Declan's sentiments about the road crew. We did have a few calls in the township during the storm. Thank the police, thank the road crew for helping us. We had an incident, the ambulance did get stuck. I don't place blame on anybody. I don't think it was the ambulance crew's fault. I don't think it was the road crew's fault, whatever it may be. The road crew did make their best effort to get us out with the front end loader so that we could get to the patient. It was an issue of getting to the patient. With that said, the ambulance was slightly damaged in that course of moving that with the township truck. Again, I am not placing any blame on anybody, but what we understand is it's probably only going to be a couple $100 to repair this. Wanted to present it to the township to see if you had some input or whether or not you'd be willing to assist us with that. Again, making a very strong case. I don't blame anybody. It was just an unfortunate circumstance. But of course, we're going to be in a position of having to pay for something that we were responding to an incident to helping this Fallowfield resident. So it's just something.
You can forward that information on.
Yeah,
do
it's probably less than what our deductible would be, which is why we wouldn't make it an insurance case. It's only probably going to be a couple $100, but I wanted to, figured it just happened this weekend, so.
If you forward it on to us, we'll take a look and review it.
Absolutely, I'll send it.
Okay. Any questions for us?
No, just let me know when the meeting.
Sure, happy to do it, thanks.
Anybody from Modena wishes to speak?
Good evening, I'm Todd Bryan, I'm the Assistant Chief and President of Modena Fire Company. Me and Mr. Cerna, we have worked together for years. It just, over the weekend, that was just a horrific event. There's a lot of snow, a lot of issues. One thing I say that we can do different is have a meeting and do an incident action plan. We all have a new radio system where we can talk to each other. Do you have a new portable?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, where we can talk to the township people, we can talk to the police, okay? The Modena Fire Company is here to work with everybody, okay? I live in the township. I've lived here as a kid, I moved away, I came back to this township. We're here to work together. It's about the residents, it's not about us. It's our job to protect these people, make sure that everybody's okay. And as far as the roads, what are you gonna do? You got 3 feet of snow. You know, I mean, it's an issue.
Thank you. Planning Commission, Mr. Crowe, you have a report? That's next. It's on the agenda. Okay, it's in the back, isn't it?
Good evening. Our planning commission, we met twice, January 11th, which kind of really throws our schedule off. We got bumped for the reorganization meeting. We had 3 members show. We had another member that was on the telephone if we needed to. We decided to decline that over until the workshop, which we had on January 18th. On that particular workshop, we discussed a number of different things. Mostly, well, in the beginning, we covered the review application for the planning commission for subs and alternates. We got the state act. I'm not quite sure what it is. I think you did it to me earlier, Steve, in the year. I don't know the number of it. It says PL 176, number 42. That has to do with the state allowing for alternate members. That was part of it. We got to looking at it further. I thought this was important to probably look at further. It also had one of the things that we didn't do or get done was that's the official map for the township. I think we still need to get that stated and made official.
Dennis, may I stop
It was
you for a
all
second?
in this act.
With the alternative state act that you went to, what was, I remember we had someone applying for the planning commission, you said they would review the alternates.
Yeah, I'm getting to that.
Oh, I thought you just touched upon, I'm sorry.
No, I'm sorry. These are all the things that were in that same act.
Okay,
The alternate members is also part of that. You may appoint one. The other things that were in it were to promote conservation and energy